The most disturbing paradoxes ever imagined. Paradoxes have probably annoyed you at times in an endless loop, just as they have annoyed me. What do these paradoxes mean? Would you cause someone's death by throwing a railroad switch while a train is traveling at full speed? Before we start questioning life at the end of the video, let's start with something very simple, or at least something that seems simple. Here's a sentence. This statement is false. Okay. If it's true, then what it says must be true, which means it's false. But if it's false, then the statement is false, which means it's actually true. That also means it's false, which means it's false. And now your brain is quietly overheating. If that felt messy, good. It's supposed to. Can Pinocchio say, "My nose is gonna grow now"? If this is true, then his nose shouldn't grow because he's telling the truth. But if it's false, then his nose should grow because he's lying. What do you think the answer is? Does it grow because he lied about it growing, or does it not grow because he told the truth? What did Epimenides say? All Cretans are liars. If that's true, then Epimenides, who is also a Cretan, is a liar. So the liar paradox disrupts our mind's expectation of consistency. You're losing control, my friend. In Interstellar, Cooper sends gravitational signals to his daughter in the past through the tesseract structure inside the black hole. Thanks to this, his daughter solves the equation that will save humanity. But the data that enabled the equation to be solved was sent by Cooper, who already lives in the future. Now we have the equation, but who produced it? So we have something, but it's not clear where it first appeared. Let's say a physicist who admires Albert Einstein in the future jumps into a time machine, travels back in time, and finds Einstein. However, when he arrives, Einstein has not yet written anything about relativity. The man explains the entire theory to Einstein, and Einstein writes it down, publishes it, and becomes famous. Years pass, and thanks to this same theory, a time machine can be built. But the problem is, who actually invented the theory of relativity? Since the time machine was built using the theory of relativity, did the time-traveling physicist teach this theory to Einstein? So there is no source for the theory. There is only an infinite loop. What's disturbing about this is that, according to this theory, everything is causeless and resultless. So everything starts to seem a bit shaky. According to our logic, everything must have a cause and effect, but this Bootstrap Paradox undermines everything. It eliminates the rules of the game, leaving only vibrations and a slight existential fear. All this sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? Think about it. You're busy with your daily routine as usual and plan to go to the movies with your friends in the evening. But a giant invasion fleet is approaching Earth, and it's coming from the far end of the galaxy. Why not? The universe is about 14 billion years old. There are approximately 200 billion stars in our galaxy alone. If we go a little further, we can observe more. Looking at these numbers, the probability that Earth is the only planet in the entire universe that harbors intelligent life is logically so low. So, where is everyone? You're not the first to ask this question. This is the Fermi Paradox. Named after physicist Enrico Fermi, this paradox emerged during a lunch conversation in 1950 when Fermi asked, "But where is everyone?"
Where is everyone?
Enrico, who discovered one of humanity's most unsettling paradoxes, must not have been bothered by it, as he happily continued eating his sandwich after asking the question. So, are you bothered by it? Don't worry, maybe the aliens are looking in the wrong places and haven't discovered us yet. Or so we think. Or maybe, according to Robin Hanson, technological civilizations have already destroyed themselves. Sleep tight. Institutions like the SETI Institute have been trying to detect signals from space for a long time. Humanity has been broadcasting radio waves for almost 100 years. Although radio waves travel at the speed of light, space is so vast that the signals sent so far have only reached a small part of the Milky Way. The Milky Way is 100,000 light years across, so it is so big. If the universe exists for an infinite amount of time, even situations that seem improbable may have logical explanations. Do you think everything is just the fantasies produced by a brain that came into existence on its own in the void? What if all your memories, experiences, and surroundings are nothing more than a quantum coincidence that seems completely real, even though they never actually existed? Are we really in this universe, or are we just a momentary consciousness that arose completely by chance? Ludwig Boltzmann was a revolutionary physicist of the 19th century, and in my opinion, one of the most important physicists who ever lived. He explained the principles of thermodynamics as we know them today based on the movement of microscopic particles. These particles come together in infinite numbers in an infinite universe and can form a brain for a short period of time. And everything you think you experience is actually the illusions created by this brain. For example, you watching this video could actually be this brain existing for a short period of time before being swept into chaos and disappearing. Nothing feels quite the same anymore, does it? If not, consider that in an infinite universe, many more Boltzmann brains could form than intelligent beings formed by normal means. This means seeing everything as an illusion. You are walking along the railroad tracks. You heard the siren of a train suddenly approaching. That blows. There are people on 2 parallel tracks. 5 people are walking on the track where the train is coming. On the other track, a single person is walking without looking back. The people on both tracks are unaware of the train's approach. Suddenly, you see a switch to change the train's direction. What do you do? What you gonna do? Shoot. If you don't intervene, if you do nothing, the train will kill the 5 unsuspecting people. If you decide to change the switch because you are there, 5 people will be saved, but the person walking on the other track will die because of you. Would you cause the death of the person walking alone by saving 5 people? Or would you cause the death of 5 people by saving 1 person? You are the decision maker here. According to classical utilitarianism, such a decision is not only acceptable, but also morally the better option. Now, in another variation, you are the railroad switchman, and the person walking alone on the tracks is your child. What decision would you make? Either way, you're pretty much out of luck. I think this might be the most difficult paradox in this video. We'll see how that goes. There's a pile of sand in front of you. A large old pile. Definitely a pile. We agree on that. Now I'm gonna take 1 grain of sand. Is it still a pile? Yes, of course. 1 more. Is it still a pile? Of course. 1 more. 1 more. 1 more. 1 more. And the cycle continues. At exactly what point did it cease to be a pile?
What's your point exactly?
And this is the Sorites Paradox, first proposed by the ancient Greek philosopher Eubulides. Apparently, Eubulides spent a lot of time with the sand at the seashore. In reality, there is no magical moment when a pile of sand ceases to be a pile of sand. Our brain tries to accept a boundary or categorize things. Now let's put the sand aside. When does a human embryo become a human? When does a sick person become a healthy person? When does war become genocide? Each of these questions is based on the same flawed logic as the sand pile. We draw lines because we need lines. The human brain likes order, because the alternative is chaos. but you created the lines. You drew the boundaries. If things turn out well, it's because the lines worked. If they didn't, that's because you didn't draw enough. You can see how this is a terrible feedback loop. Everything is in your perception. In mythology, King Theseus sails his ship into countless battles and emerges victorious from each one. Theseus' ship, returning triumphant from Crete, is preserved as a memorial in Athens for a long time. Over time, the ship deteriorates. The king first has the rudder removed, then the anchor, and so on until the entire ship is dismantled and new parts are installed. Meanwhile, the craftsmen working alongside him build another ship from the dismantled parts. The philosophical paradox in this situation is as follows. Which ship did the king use in battle? Which is the new ship? Similarly, if we replace all of a person's organs except the brain, or even save the brain to a hard drive and place it in a new robotic body, can we still call the resulting creature a human? With the advancement of technology, the ship of Theseus Paradox has begun to gain more meaning.